Well, like I came up under a different cloth of dudes. I remember being like 12, right? And I would hang out in this park, maybe 13. I would hang out in this park called Columbia Park. And at the time, I knew this older dude, and he was from the South. His name was YG. Now, at the time, I'm not knowing he's on the run for a murder in Mississippi. But he got gold in his mouth. This is before, like, you could just go on Instagram. How now they could tell exactly how someone's living in Baton Rouge and shit, and you could emulate their whole style. This is when it's just you're in the East Coast, and that's what you know, like whatever you see in the source or whatever. So I'm directly seeing a real dope boy killer from, allegedly, because that's what he's booked for right now. You know what I mean? But innocent.
Who knows?
But yeah, so I'm coming up under kind of like his tutelage, because he would hustle in that park that I was at, Columbia Park, because that like Cambridge in that era, early 2000s, is like it's still a drug zone, but it's gentrified now, but it was like $1 million block that just zombies marching up and down.
Really?
A lot of foot traffic. So he would hang out there, sell his whatever, and I would kind of just, I would run to the store for him if I had to, whatever. But, he was just ill. He was super charismatic. He had gold teeth, money busting out his pockets. He would go to the liquor store and buy like Moet instead of like dudes was buying like E&J and Hennessy. He would buy like a bottle of Moet. I was like, oh, he's fucking rich. And I came up like, under people like him. And then I remember like a year or two later, I guess he had to go on the run again, and he got caught in California, but he was on America's Most Wanted. And they showed like the park where we would chill at. Shit like that. So these are like the type of people I came up under. So then I'm like 14, 15, figuring out for myself. And I bump into another older guy from my neighborhood called Beast. And Beast had just came home. He had actually did 2 years for there was 32 dime bags of weed on the floor, and he did 2 years for that.
Really?
In a crowd of 12 people, 32 dime bags, so whatever that equivalates to. But that, when the marijuana laws was terrible, like I can't believe people did time for shit like that. But he had came home on that, but he was a big dope boy too when he came home, and he had heard like from the neighborhood, he was asking around like who could rap, and everybody was like, yo, the white boy, Millyz could rap. So he would take me to the studio and shit and kind of like just groom my talent. He took me to a studio on Newberry Street, Newberry Street in Boston, like affluent shit. And he'd have me in there, weed, liquor, whatever, put some money in my pocket. And I was under his record label at the time, Block 617, when I'm like 15, 16. But he's the plug. So he's giving me free work too. So now I got an upper advantage, because I started selling crack when I'm like 14. Scared. I just made that transition.
Right.
But by the time I got with Beast, I'm a little deeper in the game, and it's like he's hitting me with free work. So everything is profit, because he's like, you're my artist here, whatever.
Wow.
And so I was under his wing. He actually took me to the Ozone Awards when I was young in Miami.
What the fuck?
Yeah, hell, you heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was at the Ozone Awards when I'm like 16, 17. So I had like real experiences through these bigger homies kind of that was grooming my talent.
Because like a lot of people are trying to make it out of like, a place like Cambridge or whatever, but they don't like that. They don't even have like a vision of what it would actually be like. But you go to the Ozone Awards, it's like you're just surrounded by greatness and all these people who made millions off this shit.
Hell yeah. I got a mascot right now. Did you see my mascot?
I don't think so.
I got a mascot, like a life-size mascot of me type shit. But I remember seeing Haitian Fresh at the Ozone Awards with the mascot.
Wow.
And so it's like little things like that. But even like, that's why I got my man Haas here right now, because he's younger. I want to show him like aspirational shit, because I saw shit when I was young, like the Ozone Awards that Beast took me to or whatever. And that let me know like, oh, it's a whole big ass world out there. This is when like Plies is lit and shit like that. But yeah, so I was under Beast with Block 617, and he would give me free studio, free work, all of that. And we actually, we caught a case together, me, him, and ES, but me and ES beat our shit, and he pled to what was caught on him or whatever. And Then he caught another case, and he caught like another case, but he ended up doing like 12 years and shit.
Wow.
So he's home now. That's still my man. But I had like, after he left, I had to figure it out on myself. And that was the first time like I didn't have any big homie type shit. So now it's just me and a few of my homies. And at the time I got like a spot in Woodrow Wilson. It's like a little projects in my neighborhood or whatever, because I had to connect to get a spot where it was like $300 a month and shit. So now I'm just in the spot with my people, and we got really no guidance at this point. Like there's no big homie. I'm like rapping, but I'm kind of not rapping. We getting into like other shit. We got tension with people. We got issues with people. Shit like that. And that was probably like the most unproductive part of my life. My homies ended up getting a life sentence that I would be with every day off of murder, and just a lot of shit going on, getting shot at, people, a lot of shit, so a lot of shit going on.
You basically, like, that time period in your life, you had a bunch of good shit that was kind of going for you for certain periods of time, but then you just kept having, like, you know, basically seeing the downside of that life is like you could get thrown in jail for the rest of your life, you could get a crazy ass case. And
yeah, hell yeah, like, but like, at first it was people taking me under their wing, and then when I wasn't under nobody's wing and I had to figure it out for myself, that's when shit kind of got a little scary. Right.
Because when you have that guidance, it's like you're not going to make as many mistakes, and then all of a sudden when you're sort of on your own, it's like
I had to figure it out, and we were all young, just trying to figure it out. It would be all 6 of us just like sleeping in Woodrow Wilson every night, doing whatever we doing. And I was active, and we was all active, and that shit led to, I couldn't believe it, but that shit led to, you know, my bros getting a life sentence, and they should really be able to flip it because it was more like a self-defense. I don't want to go too much into it, you know what I mean? But they're still down to this day. I got them tatted on my arm, and
Were there times where you thought about quitting, either, you know, trying to make it as a rapper or quitting, trying to make it in the streets?
Yeah, I always didn't. I didn't have like aspirations to make it in the streets, because one thing I understood is you don't get like more than like a 1.5 year run type shit. You get like a year. If you're lucky in the streets, you get like a 3-year run. And I was seeing that everyone was going to jail. Everyone was going to jail around me, and I had cases. I had a cocaine conspiracy charge, beat that, and then I got caught with 14 grams. I got caught with 14 grams of crack or coke, whatever, at the hospital, because somebody had got stabbed and I had drove them to the hospital, and I left the car in the fucking in the tow zone lane, and I'm super bent in the hospital with my friend because it's really not that deep. He was actually trying to like stop somebody. He was trying to stop somebody from doing something, and he got sliced on his hand, so I'm in there with him, and I'm just bent, and I'm in the hospital, and the cops come in, and they're asking me questions and whatever. Long story short, they arrest me for a DUI, but then I didn't know they had the right to search my car because it's called an inventory search.
Wow.
Basically, like, if they tow your car, they have the right to search it just in case you could say, yo, I had $6 million in there. No, they search it to put it on a record or whatever. So they searched the shit out of it, and they found that. So I got charged with like distribution or whatever. But with my lawyer, we busted down to a possession with the DUI and a 2.5 year suspended sentence. So I had that like over my head, so I would be a little easy too. But yeah, that was like the most tumultuous point, and then a lot of shit, bro. I could just go on like I lived a long fucking life, you know what I mean? But I don't know where you want to go from there.
What do you think kept you from ending up doing like a serious amount of time? You feel like does that make you feel like you were meant to be here? That you saw all these people around you get locked up or get killed?
I got iller shit than that. That like I've been through like divine intervention. I don't know if you like believe in God, like, but I've been through like divine intervention, like miracles. Actual miracles.
Let's hear one.
I was going to this show one time, and this is right after my homies went down for murder. And I want to say, like, I don't be like, I told this story before on 23 and 1.
Shout out to my boy Josh.
But it's all entertainment. You know what I mean? Just I don't know. This is whatever. This is like I just want to cover myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to.
Right. It's all
This is a long time ago.
This could have happened.
16 years ago. And it's just a story for No Jumper. But yeah, we had a show or whatever, and a lot of shit was going on, and I had this little flight jacket, and I had a plan, like, with the flight jacket. Like, if anything goes on in this club, I'm gonna just shoot through the flight jacket. It was like one of the black shits with the orange inside, $20 flight jacket, like that, but the black shits. I had the pistol in my pocket, so it's just going on, and it kind of gets spooky at one point in the club, and this is the first time I ever got in an encounter where I like shot at somebody out of fear or tried. And because somebody broke through the crowd towards me after a little altercation, and it looked like they were up in something, and I backed up. It's the first time I ever dumped out of fear, and I backed up. And mind you, I had a brand new 2.2 revolver, perfect. It was perfect. There was nothing wrong with it. I backed up when he broke through the crowd, and click, 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 and it didn't go off. Big melee. We run to the bathroom and shit. And I'm like, yo, like my people are like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, yo, bro, I swear to God, I try to boom him. Woo, woo, woo. I look in my pocket and I take the gun out, the toy gun out, and it's in like 5 different pieces. And I don't even know how to break a gun down with my hands.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to do that. And it's a new joint that had been tested and all of that. There's no way I could have took it apart in my pocket. The safety pin's out, the barrel's over here. It's in like 4 pieces. I pass a piece to bro. And we walk out of there. And in hindsight, if that gun went off, it was security right there, it was a camera right there, camera right there, camera right there. The detectives was driving by right there. God came and disassembled the gun in my pocket. That's what I believe, because you can't explain it to me. You can't tell me it was a piece of shit gun, because we're running around with this. That never happened, and I don't know how to do that.
That is pretty crazy.
To me, that's divine intervention. That's why I'm like, crosses on my face and shit, like I'm godly. I believe he took me out of that life with that, or he showed me something, and I always go to that. Whenever I'm in any sort of tumultuous situation, I always just remember, like, bro, I'm literally a product of a miracle.
Right. What happened with the guy who was coming towards you?
It was like a melee, and
you know,
I think people on his side was like, you know, oh, you backed up. They might have thought I ran. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what are you thinking about that night when you're laying in bed? You're thinking like,
no, that shit boggled my mind. Yeah, that shit boggled my mind to this day. At first, you know, I'm young and dumb, so I keep trying to tell my people, like, nah, I squeezed, bro. I swear to God, I squeezed, bro. I swear. That's what I was on. But then, like, as I got older, I'm like, damn, that's divine intervention. And there's another situation I would talk about, but it's too, that's too much. But yeah, man, it's just like I just feel like God's strongly in my life, and I feel like that's why, like, I've never I've been able to pursue this rap shit, and I help people out with it. You know what I mean? Like, I help a lot of people around me, and I'm trying to lift as many artists up out of mass as I can. I got a gang full of artists outside that got to meet you after. You know what I mean?